Hello everyone and welcome to Cherries Red Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk. I hope you're having a good Easter weekend after a positive victory from AFC Bournemouth on Good Friday. And this match preview is slightly different, not live, but we're going to look ahead to Blackburn. I've got Aaron with me. How you doing, Aaron?
Very good, Kirk. Thank you.
And I've also got Dan with me as well. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing very well, especially after that win. Very
Definitely.
Good.
And we'll go into the match preview in a bit. But yeah, how are you feeling after that Good Friday win? Aaron?
Oh, okay.
I'll go first. Yeah. Much needed win. At this stage of the season, result is obviously all important. It's nice to have a performance as well. It wasn't the most convincing performance, despite scoring 3 goals. Still feel there were certain things lacking, but we got over the line. That's 2 wins in a row in the league with 3 goals in each. So, positive with other results for Cardiff going our way as well. So, yeah, feeling good.
We'll look at that fixture in a little bit more detail, that 3-1 victory over Borough, Dan, but are you feeling positive like after that?
Yeah, really good. I mean, I think that at this stage of the season, it doesn't matter how you do it. You just need 3 points. It doesn't matter. I said this to my dad, that it doesn't whether we play well, whether we don't play well, whether we play the best football, whether we get lucky, it does not matter at this stage of the season. This is just about the result. And I think that's the most important thing. So however we do it, however we get over the line is a positive. But yeah, really good 3 points. And it wasn't a terrible result. I thought everyone put in a decent shift. It wasn't one of our best, but also definitely not one of our worst. So positive.
So thank you for checking in and watching this video. And what we'll do through this is we'll look at the current fixtures of the team. We played Blackburn first game of the season. We're going to look at the head-to-head form. We'll look at Blackburn's form in more detail, and then we'll look at the AFC Bournemouth potential team for this game on Bank Holiday Monday. Also, give this video a like. We'd really appreciate that. And if you're not a subscriber already, please subscribe to the channel. So let's get on with it. And we just talked a little bit about it. So AFC Bournemouth 3, Borough 1. I mean, the man of the show, he's really showing himself to be a player coming of age. Phil Billing loves that free role. Aaron?
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding again. He's just a revelation. He's scoring, he's assisting, he's just a constant menace. He just looks like he's enjoying his football, and he was pivotal, literally pivotal in that 3. I thought actually all the midfield 3 and then Pearson when he came on, all of them put in a real shift and were outstanding.
We don't make it comfortable for ourselves, though, do we, Dan? I mean, the one frustration I have is we have played well for 45 minutes in a lot of matches, but we only go in 1-0 up, and Duncan Watmore would equalised for them, but that almost gave us sort of the impetus to go again, and thankfully we came good in the last 30 minutes and we won the match 3-1. But yeah, I mean, I just would like things to be a little bit more comfortable for us earlier on in matches.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that this sort of storyline has happened so often this season, where we've played well in the first half, especially recently. And I will never feel comfortable with a 1-0 lead if we're playing ever. Like, no matter who we're playing bottom of League 2 in a cup game, I don't care. I'll never feel comfortable with Bournemouth 1-0 up. And it's a first half performance, and then we just come out. I don't know what happens, and it almost like we need to concede to give that initiative to go and get another goal. Almost like we react to what the opposition does instead of killing the game off, and that's been such a problem this season. Luckily, we did manage to get a goal. In some way, it was a little bit lucky. It was almost gifted to us in terms of it was a pretty poor ball from Billing. I think he should have played it a little bit earlier. The defender makes a right meal of it, and it takes a deflection off him, and then we go and push on, and Dom gets his goal, which is second in 11, I think it said in the commentary, which is quite surprising actually. But it's good to get him back on the score sheet.
And his 12th goal of the season. So let's look at the opposition, Blackburn, then, and we'll go into the form in more detail in a bit, Aaron. But they lost against Wycombe 1-0, and Wycombe have probably got too much to do, but they'll probably be disappointed to lose against the team that's bottom of the league.
Yeah, I haven't been looking too much at them, but I kind of thought it could go 2 ways. One, they're on the rebound after losing to Wycombe, or their confidence is going to be rock bottom. I did actually have a sneak look at their side just before, and Armstrong was out. He's been out the last 3 games, but typically for us, annoyingly, Mowbray says he should be fine for Monday. So that's a bit of a shame, because obviously he's a threat. So he's had a hamstring injury, so it looks like he's going to be all right for Monday. But having said that, the rest of their team aren't, obviously aren't firing. They're low on confidence. They haven't really got much to play for. They're not really in danger of being dragged into any relegation problems. So, if we're up for it, which we let's face it, we should be, and we should be confident, we should have more than enough for them.
Right, let's go all the way back then, Dan, back to September. First game of the season. This was a week after we won the Betway Cup. AFC Bournemouth at home to Blackburn. We sort of made hard work of it again, but we sort of outscored Blackburn and won the game 3-2. I mean, what can you remember of that game?
Yeah, it was a really good game, actually. I think, if I remember correctly, a brilliant finish from Danjuma at the end. One of the best goals he scored this season. And yeah, it's Blackburn, especially the first half of the season, were right up there in goals scored. I think they were like third for a long time, second, first, maybe even at one point. They're scoring a lot of goals this season. And I think I remember checking yesterday, and they were outside of the top 7 or 8. They've scored the most goals by quite a bit, I think. So you could easily see this being high scoring. I wouldn't put it past for a repeat of that kind of result, maybe a 3-1. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Adam Armstrong is going to be a threat. But yeah, I think that we didn't really. I went into that game, first game of the season, not really knowing what to expect. And yeah, it made it really tough for us, and it took a bit of quality. And how many times have we said that, where we needed that little bit of quality from one of our best players to get us that result? And yeah, there were some great goals in that game. Stacey, first goal of the season, really nice goal. Lerma, great goal. And obviously Danjuma finished off with a lovely strike. But yeah, Adam Armstrong on that score sheet again. And with him coming back, I think 19 goals he scored this season with an injury. So he's going to definitely be a threat. And Harvey Elliott, 10 assists this season. That link up is going to be deadly, I think. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how we cope with that.
And as we thought back then, Aaron, it was a new team under Jason Tindall. Started off with a back three, and I think it was a 3-4-3 on that day. And like Dan says, Danjuma scored a cracking goal. But 2 players that scored for Blackburn, Bradley Johnson and Adam Armstrong, I believe, didn't start in this game against Wycombe today.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure where Johnson was, whether they're rotating or not. But yeah, as I said, Armstrong wasn't playing. I mean, it was kind of synonymous with Tyndall ball at the beginning of the season, where we were just outscoring teams and poor defensively. We have become, wouldn't say very solid, but we've become a bit more solid with Jonathan Woodgate and shored up a bit at the back. So it'd be interesting, because Blackburn are high scorers. They can play with the freedom. As I said, they've got nothing really to play for. So they can play with the freedom, but I think we've just got to take the initiative. Armstrong might be back, but we got the centre halves to mark him out of the game, stop the supply, and impose ourselves on them. And I think we just got to, we're the ones with roll our sleeves up. It's going to be a cold, windy day by the looks of it up in Lancashire. So hopefully we're up for it.
In the recent history then between the teams, Dan, I think 7 games. I think that's a culmination of the league and a bit of League Cup as well. The last 2 matches go for Bournemouth 3-2. Do these sort of statistics play into your hands, or is it irrelevant at the end of the day when that whistle goes?
I think that, especially this season, I think the results are so freak. Anything can happen. I don't think you can take much from. You can't take much history into this season. Every result, the Championship, anyone can beat anyone anyway. So you add in with COVID, no fans, there's some freak results. And I think that this season's so unique that every result I don't think you can take too much from the past fixtures. And especially us, this is the first time we've ever been in this situation after being relegated from the Premier League. So no, I don't think that it's. Don't think we can look at history too much here. I think that you could maybe look at the start of the season. We know it's probably going to be quite high scoring. And yeah, as Aaron mentioned there, we've been a lot better at the back with Woodgate. I think the partnership of Cook and Cameron Carter-Vickers has been really, really good. I think that there's been less of those silly mistakes that I think we had a couple with Metham, and they're so frustrating, because when you defend so well and you think that you've kept them out for however long and you're winning the game and you give away a goal from not even like them playing good football, it's just a stupid mistake that throws the game away. So I think this is going to be. I'm not going to give a score prediction yet. I know you're saving that, but I think that this is going to be high scoring. But I can see it going our way for sure.
I'd like to think that Blackburn won't just sit back, because, as I said,
exactly.
No, they got enough. They're playing with freedom, so it could play into our hands that they might go for us, in which case we can pick them off.
It's toe-to-toe, isn't it? I suppose.
Let's look at Blackburn in more detail then. So they're currently sitting 15th, Aaron, on 46 points. They're in some horrible form. They've got 1 win in the last 13. We'll have a look at the table, or we'll sort of see where they're balanced at the moment. But yeah, I mean, they just lost to Wickham as well. I mean, they're struggling to get points.
What they need is Bournemouth, a nice Bournemouth team to come along and go up north and not fight, just to give them what they want, a win. As Dan said, it depends what Bournemouth turn up. We know if we're on it, we're at it. We're going to come to a team lineups in a second. There's a certain player who I think has to be in that midfield, who could be up for the fight. But yeah, I mean, we should have too much for them, and they're obviously low on confidence. I think the first goal is critical. I've said it time and time again. With us, especially, if we get that first goal, we invariably go on to win the game. So that first goal is important. So we've got to be on it from the start. And with 2 really winnable games after this, if we can get a win here, then we really are flying.
We've been here before, Dan, where we've said, oh, maybe we just need to forget about this season and go again next season, and then we're just in the playoffs. It's amazing because on the 1st of February, Blackburn was 7th, 2 points off the playoffs, and now they're in 15th. I mean, the championship is ridiculous.
It's mental, yeah. It's the hope. It's I was thinking, I agree. I think that it wasn't so long ago. I was thinking, write the season off. We're done. We're like, obviously, you keep the hope and keep the faith, but you almost accepted that we were like, I think as fans, as a collective, we were like, we've accepted. I think this is done. If we do manage to get it, positive, but we kind of accepted very early on that it's probably not going to happen this season. And then you get that little bit of hope. Some results start going your way, and you start picking up some results. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if we can reach promotion. But yeah, you mentioned Blackburn's form there, because it's remarkable how much they've dropped off, considering how deadly they were, especially at scoring at the start of the season. And though we were talking about goals they've scored, I was checking back, and their last 5 games they haven't scored more than a goal, and in any of those games. And that was only, I think, in 2 games they scored a goal. So they've only scored 2 goals in the last 5, if I'm correct.
Armstrong's been missing for 4 of those, though. That's the problem.
Exactly.
We might have.
That's the worry. So when he's coming back, is that going to change? I don't know. So but like they've drawn to Swansea, and they've drawn to Norwich. So you'd argue those are good results for them. So as much as they haven't been winning games, they've been stopping the big teams from winning. So is that something to take? I'm not sure, because they've got, as Aaron said, it's not really got anything to play for at this point. And often teams, they play a lot better when there's no pressure on them. They're not going to get promoted. They're not going to get relegated. What's to lose? And they've got a prolific goal scorer, and he could be up for it. And it could be one of those games where, because they've got no pressure, they've got no expectations really going into it, and they really put up a good game. But also in the same way, as I mentioned, if they do go toe-to-toe with us, and we've seen teams done that previously at the early stations of the season, it hasn't ended well for them. So whether they do that or they try and sit back, I don't see them sitting back and being and defending for a lot of the game. I feel like even if they go 1-0 up, they're going to keep playing, they're going to keep pushing. So I feel like we're always going to be in this game. So I think that's something interesting that we could exploit potentially.
Well, the only way they might sit back potentially is if Mowbray, who's experienced, will know that's probably the best way to get a result against us.
Yeah, true.
So they could look at that. But as I said before, I think the first goal is so important, because I think if we get the first goal, their heads will really drop. And as you say, Dan, if they get the first goal, they have got quality, and they could then play with the freedom and the confidence.
Let's focus on those goals then and just mop that up, like you've discussed there, Dan. 50 goals they've scored this season, 7th best in the league, but they've only got a goal difference of 8. I think they've scored 9 goals in the last 12. And Adam Armstrong is 19 goals, and he's been stuck on that since the 17th of Feb, Aaron. I know he's had a few injuries and he's missed a few games, but he's just struggling to get to that 20 mark. Yeah.
Let's hope he doesn't do it on Monday. I just think we've got to stop the service to him. He's clinical. He's a finisher. He's someone that I would love to have seen us go after in the transfer window, because I thought he might be the final piece in our jigsaw for a 20-25 goal season striker. But yeah, I mean, Harvey Elliott's another one who can obviously create. I don't know too much about the rest of their team, if I'm being honest. There's no disrespect to them, but if we do our jobs all over the pitch, if we had the likes of Jeff and Pearson, being solid, then hopefully we can nullify any of their threats.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned there for Harvey Elliott, Dan, 10 assists, 5 goals, obviously on loan from Liverpool. He's going to want to show what he's all about, because I'm sure he's going to want to try and get in that Liverpool team one way or another.
I mean, what an incredible player he is, though. 17 years old, it's remarkable how good he is at this age, and he's got something to prove. He's not staying at Blackburn. He's just going to want to prove himself for Liverpool. by playing well for Blackburn, and he's been playing so well for them. He's been so key for them, and at such a young age, you've got to think he's going to be a great talent for them in the future. And I think, it's another reason he's got nothing to lose. That's going to be a threat, he's a player that's, I think he's scored a couple of great goals this season. I remember seeing one, and 10 assists. He's clearly been a key part of the puzzle for them. He's clearly worked well for them.
Does he play off their right hand side?
Yeah. He usually plays on the right for them. Yeah.
So
let's take a look.
Left back will be key for us then.
Well, this is the team this is the lineup for Blackburn today versus Wycombe as we're recording this right now, and Harvey Elliott does look to be playing on the right with Ben Berriton and then Sam Gallagher. So that's the lineup from today. I mean, how does Tony Pulis? How does I've even forgot his name now. He's just thrown me. You're Tony Mowbray. God, get that out of my head straight away. How does Tony Mowbray play this? Because his job must be on the line potentially. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know that much about Blackburn, to be honest with you. But does he? They're 11 points off relegation. Does he put a team out to be brave, or does he just say, look, let's just build a wall? But either way, surely he's got to show something, because they're on a spiral down. I mean, I don't think they'll get relegated, even if they don't win a game between now and the end of the season.
No, this is my worry, that from our point of view, he'll think, let's get a result against one of the better teams. If we can get a draw out of this, we don't need to win the game for points, but a draw is a positive result. And he might have seen, who we struggle against throughout this season, and the teams that go toe to toe with us, we invariably take them apart. So it'd be very brave to do that. But he invariably goes to the back four from what I've seen, and whether he goes sort of 5 in midfield or 1 up front or 3-3, I think that's normally the system he goes with. So I imagine that Armstrong will come in for Brereton, whoever he is, and Gallagher and Elliott either side. But then, it's difficult to know. I think he might set up a bit more defensively against us, and then try to hit us on the counter. And we're going to be prepared for that.
Now, a positive for us, Dan. Armstrong may come back in, and even Bradley Johnson. One player that won't, who's ruled out for the season, just like Lewis Cook, is Bradley Dack. And actually, he added some goals for Blackburn in March, and he is a very good player in the Championship. Is that a positive that someone like that's not in that Blackburn team come Monday?
I mean, I can't say I know a hell of a lot about him. I don't probably study the Championship as much as you do, Kirk, apart from Bournemouth. But as a player that's done well for them, it's a positive, isn't it? If he's not playing, and we know how crucial it is to have those player like Cook in your team, like a Lewis Cook. And him getting injured, I think, is going to hurt us this season. Whether it'll be decisive in our promotion push, I'm not sure. But having a player, especially in that centre mid role, I think you said he was centre mid, right?
It's sort of attacking midfielder, centre midfielder. Yeah.
Having a player in there that controls, finds the pockets of space, distributes the ball, their creative player, if you will. That's, having that out is probably one of the reasons why maybe they haven't been scoring as many goals compared to their start of the season. So definitely a positive for sure.
Right, let's focus on AFC Bournemouth, and we don't know the press conference. I'm not sure if there's going to be an official one over the weekend, but injuries potentially. I think David Brooks has been confirmed, and Aaron, you can maybe confirm this, that he was ill, not an injury. I think there was just an illness there, and potentially Stanislas come off with an injury as well, not a hip. Sorry, sort of feeling unwell, not a hip injury.
Yeah, I think when Stan was bending over feeling his hip, I think he more thought he was going to throw up, and he's feeling his stomach. There's obviously some sort of sickness bug going around, so I hope it doesn't go around anyone else. It wasn't COVID related, apparently. So where are we? It's 3 days to the game. You'd like to think that they both be well for that game, or at least one of them, because obviously one of them can play that position. So I mean, Brooksy was looking sharp in training. So I'd like to think that they're both fine. So hopefully it's just Lewis still who's the only one out.
It's a weird one though, isn't it? With Brooks, with him coming back, how poor he was for a large part of the season, especially I think it was pretty much after he won Player of the Month. It was just like, but it wasn't like he was struggling in the sense he couldn't create. Like, I mean, admittedly, this this was around the whole team, a lot of it, our problems, but especially him. Like each game where he wasn't performing, he wasn't putting passes, like simple passes together. And a player of his quality, I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe this injury's motivate him and motivate him to come back stronger with a bit more confidence. But like, I wouldn't even put him in the starting 11 when based on his form before his injury. Like he was shocking, and I really hope, because we know the quality he has, that he can make a comeback. Fingers crossed.
I'm such a huge fan of Brooks. I just, I don't know if I'm always naive with him, because I always think he can always produce something, however poor he's been, as you say. But I'm sure we'll come to that team lineup. Sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, hold that thought. And if you're enjoying this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know what you think at this part of the show in comments, about Blackburn and the game and how it might play out. But it's a good time, as we're discussing players, to go into the predicted 11. Let's do this. Okay, so what I put on the screen there, guys, is the actual team that started against Middlesbrough. Okay, and then we'll tinker with it a little bit. So that's sort of how it played out, and Wilshere did sort of play a holding role alongside Lerma. So let's start Begovic in goal and that back four. I mean, Stacey came on for Stanislas. Do you expect that back four to be the same, Aaron, or do you expect Lloyd Kelly to come in?
I think Kelly will come in. Rico had one of his better games. He didn't necessarily do anything wrong by any stretch. So it might be a bit harsh to pull him out, but I'm kind of thinking if there are players who can fill in or rotate with 2 games in within 3 days, it's an obvious one, because Kelly was on great form. I know England under 21s didn't have great results, but I think he played well in all 3 games. So for me, he's the better of the 2, and he comes straight back in. Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, with championship games, they come thick and fast, and it's a game that's coming in 3 days, and it's an obvious switch. Get some fresh legs in there, and he's, as Aaron said, I think he's a better player than Rico, so I think chuck him in. Yeah.
Are you happy that Smith keeps his place as well? I thought he played really well today, actually.
Yeah, I thought Smith played really well. Yeah.
Right, let's go up then. Now, Ben Pearson, a player that I think we all agree we love him as a player already in his early career at AFC Bournemouth. But when you've got a centre midfield that are playing really well, and I think it's a similar midfield that played against Swansea, I mean, would you want to tinker with it? I mean, I know there's got to be a part of rotation in there, like Dan said, Aaron, but do you bring Pearson in?
I think the conversation will be had with Jonathan Woodgate and Jack Wilshere to see how you're feeling, Jack, basically, first and foremost. But I'd still be tempted to put Pearson in there. An away game in a windy, snowy, whatever it's going to be, up in Blackburn. We will miss a bit of creativity, but again, he shows when he comes on, we can dominate the midfield. So I personally would obviously put Jack on the bench and certainly have him as an option to come on. But I would start with Pearson and Lerma in that holding 2.
And Dan, do you agree with that? And you obviously, in my opinion, can't drop Billing.
It's such a weird situation, because you would look at that team, you say Lerma, Pearson and Billing, you'd say, and you think that is in no way attacking at all. You look at how has Billing just turned into this like incredible number 10 that is just creating, scoring goals. It's crazy. And I think that really, I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but I think Billing's a lot better defensively when he plays there for some reason. I think that maybe some of the positions he's in makes it easier for him to make the challenges, because I thought he's clumsy when he plays in any other position in midfield, in my opinion. And so you can't drop Billing, you can't. But I think that Pearson probably coming in and just get some fresh legs there. And I think it's about managing the game, depending on what the result is, how the game's going, how the game's panning out. We might want to bring on a Wilshere for that bit of creativity, 60 minutes in or whatever.
I think it's really interesting about because Billing's form is causing the issue to some degree, because if Billing wasn't playing well, then you can either put Wilshere where Billing is, or you can even move Stanislas off that right hand side he doesn't want to be in and put him where Billing is and play Brooks on the right. So Billing playing well is fantastic, but it's kind of causing an issue for Jonathan Woodgate, because there's so many other players.
A good headache manager, isn't it?
It's a very good headache. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we agree that we've got Pearson and Lerma in there. We know that if Lerma can play that advanced role if we need to and be a little bit more proactive as he has done it in the season. And for me, Billing, you've got to keep that confidence high. So are we happy with that midfield three?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about Billing is he is prone to a bit of injury. He had a slight injury. He didn't go away with Denmark. So again, assuming he's feeling absolutely fine, then yeah, keep him in.
Right, so let's go up to the top then. And obviously, this is the front three that started against Middlesbrough. Now, Stanislas went off, and we assume then that he's probably going to be poorly for a few days. So that'll be needing to be managed. So I assume he'll be rested. Now, an interesting one, Dan, is that Roro was all kitted up. He'd done his warm up. He was ready to come on. Lerma scores a goal, and then he has a shoulder. Woodgate puts an arm around his shoulder and puts him back on the bench. I mean, what does that do to a confidence player? And, who to potentially replaces Stanislas?
Yeah, I do feel bad for him. I know that he's only on loan, but he seems like a really good kid. Got a good attitude from what I understand. And every time he's come on, it's a weird one because I think that his final product isn't quite there. I think that his build-up play, I think dribbling, he's really, really good at finding those pockets of space and running at defenders and drawing fouls. But I just think that final pass or that final shot hasn't quite been there. And I think that And maybe it's because he's had a bit of a lack of game time, who knows? But I think that I do feel a bit bad for him, especially when you're about to come on. I suppose obviously it's about managing the game and the result. I get that completely, but he's how many times have maybe he deserved to start and has been put on the bench when he's played well and he came on and scored that great goal. Who was it against Derby? I think it was. That's a great finish. And he's clearly got quality, and he's clearly rated back in Spain. He's because obviously we got him on loan, so I suppose it's the dilemma. But yeah, I think that would you say Riquelme starts? Would you say he's an option
or Aaron, is it the person that came on for Stanislas to give you that right back recovery? So if Smith goes on, Stacey drops in. If Stacey goes on, Smith drops in. I mean, is it Stacey that comes in and sort of be that advanced player?
It's another option. The other option is if Brooks is over his illness and he's as fit and sharp as they say he should play. But I'm going to throw a curveball in there, which might screw up the whole formation here. Because I'm just thinking back whether this is a perfect game to put Surridge up with Dom, because in previous Northern away games, they've done that and we've come up trumps, and maybe a two up top will stick. But then I don't know where you put Danjuma then. So I don't want to muck up your schedule, but it's potential.
Yeah, it's a great idea and something I didn't actually think of. But then I think we cause an issue for Billing. And as great as Billing's been, I think he can only play this role and this role only. And
as long as he gets close enough to Dom, because I think that could be the issue. Yeah.
Okay, so I think, do we potentially go with Stacey being away from home, and he probably won't play it like a Stanislas role, but he'll probably play it like a right winger, I assume. But would you put Stacey there, or do you want to put Brooks in and maybe think that he'll be fit? Go on, Aaron. Stacey or Brooks?
I'd love to go for Brooks. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jack Stacey, but I think he's always an option to come on if we're losing, or if we're winning and shoring it up, or whatever it might be. I put it this way: I think if Brooks is fit and well, he will start the game. If he's not, then I think it could well be Stacey. So we're kind of hypothetical situations, but I'll go for Brooks.
Dan?
Yeah, I think that if you're choosing between Riquelme, let's say, in that position, and Brooks, as much as Brooks hasn't been the player that we thought he should be for a large part of the season, I think that he's got quality, and we know he's got quality. And with a player with that quality, you don't want to knock his confidence. If he's ready, get him back on the field, in my opinion. Get him back playing and get his confidence back up. So yeah, I'd agree, Brooks.
You might only have 8 more games left of David Brooks, so let's just...
There you go. Yeah, you go.
Okay, I'm going to stick Danjuma in there because I think although he had a very bright start against Borough, I think he went missing for large spells, but he is that player that can win you games and create stuff for you potentially. I assume there's no objections for Danjuma. I think he'll keep his place.
Yeah.
And Dom Solanke, the stats back. Can he score 2 goals in 2 consecutive games? Does he keep his place up top? Dan?
But he almost did the 2 goals, didn't he, with that Swansea game, wasn't it? There's an own goal.
So close.
So close. You can just count that. Yeah, he's been our man. And as much as we've all mentioned that he's not that striker that we potentially he's not that number 9 that you'd like to say. He's not that striker that in the Championship will get you 20 goals. I think he does a lot more than that. I think his distribution, hold up play, and a lot of the time I feel for him because he is isolated up there on his own and he can't do a lot more. And I think that also, but having the option of Sam Surridge off the bench is such a luxury. It frustrates me when Long comes on. I'm like, he's rubbish. I'm going to be honest. He is just rubbish. Like he
did his cast today,
it.
thankfully. So hopefully we won't see him for a couple of weeks.
We are like me and my dad watching the last 10 minutes. Why not bring Surridge on? And like everything he did, like I'm sure he's a great guy, but it's just everything he did was just losing the ball, giving not really holding the ball up, play, not distributing it. I think he's way past his best, and he's not got the pace, he's not got the strength. And what he's really doing then, is bring on Sam Surridge is what we want.
I don't really know officially, but I'm sure he's got a certain amount of games that
it probably is something like that. Yeah.
And every time he comes off for 10 minutes and it knocks another game off it, I'm happy. So there's our predicted 11 for Blackburn on Bank Holiday Monday. So let us know what you think. Do you agree? Who would you change and who would you bring in? Let us know your thoughts. We'd like to hear it. Okay, right. Okay, then, guys. So score prediction then. Blackburn, 3-4. We seem to be on the up. Now, that's the second Championship game in a row that we've won, and we haven't won 3 games in a row since 2020. And if we're going to get into the playoffs, we do need to go on a run, just like some of the other teams have, Barnsley and Cardiff. Aaron, do we win this game on Monday? And your score prediction?
I think we will win 2-1. I think it'll be a very close game. If we turn up, I think we will win the game. I do think we'll concede. I'd love to say 2-0, but I just always think we've got a goal against in us. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, but it won't be easy.
Dan?
Yeah, I've gone with 2 results depending on my heart and on my head. My head agrees with Aaron. I think I was going to say a 2-1, but there's something. My heart is selling me like a 4-0 or something. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm that optimistic. I think it's because after today, I'm feeling really good. And I think that it's possible. We've done it before. We've blown teams away. We probably will concede. So maybe chuck a 4-1 maybe on that prediction. But I think that probably the more logical prediction is a 2-1 here. I think it'd be a tough game, but I think we'll get it over the line. And it'd be great.
I thought we'd keep a clean sheet against Borough, and Blackburn aren't scoring many goals, but Adam Armstrong might come back in, and they have got Harvey Elliott. But I'm going to stick by Begovic. I'm going to go for 2-0. That was the score I went for against Borough. So another 2-0 for me put down there. And let us know what you think the score will be. Drop it in the comments. And what we'll do, just to finish off the show, is we'll just have a look at the other fixtures. Now, I say look at the other fixtures because some results did go for us. In regards to Cardiff, and obviously we beat Borough. It seems like it's a bit of a 7-horse race now, Aaron. Looking at the fixtures there, I mean, Reading are at home to Derby, and as we're speaking, Reading are playing Barnsley. So I'll have a look to see what the score is.
I've just checked.
It's currently 1-1 as we're recording this. This will be going out. But yeah, I mean, you've got teams like Borough at home to Watford, which is a hard game, in Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff. But really, is it a 7-horse race now?
I think so. For once, I'll be cheering Watford on Monday just to make sure that does stay the same. Cardiff, where are Cardiff? We're at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday desperate for the points. That won't be easy for Cardiff at all. But as I said, I think they've got too much to do now, because even if they catch us to go on the bigger run, you'd expect Reading to beat Derby at home. And Luton is a tough place for Barnsley to go. But it's all about us now. I mean, we've said it before. We had 9 games left. If we win 5 of them, draw a couple, we're going to get in the playoffs. And now we need one another 4. So I maintain that if we do what we need to do, then the other results should take care of themselves.
And Dan, Derby did beat Luton, and they're away at Reading. And like Aaron said, we've got that sort of game in hand, and that goal difference is on our side, which is an extra point. But do you think Derby could do us a favour if we need it?
They ain't been bad against teams that are at the top, have they? They've been pretty decent. They could quite possibly get a result. Reading have been they haven't been the Reading of the start of the season, that's for sure. They've been tailing off towards the end of the season. And yeah, as Aaron said, I've said this for the longest of time. longest time that it's in our hands. I only care ultimately about our results. The other results, whatever, like we'd love some results to go in our favour. Of course we would, but ultimately we have to be winning games and we have to be putting a run of games together. We can look at the other results, and if this happens, we need to win, put a run of at least 4 or 5 games together. You know, we've got that's 2 games on the that we've run in a row now. So let's get another 2. Let's get another 2, and that'll be the record this season. I think we haven't got past 3. I think we maybe got 3 once or something like that. We haven't put a good run of wins together at all this season. So let's focus on ourselves. Let's get another 3 points against Blackburn and push on from that. Feeling optimistic.
So as I said, we're recording this right now, and we're currently outside the playoffs, but with a game in hand with Barnsley and Reading drawing. So let's just finish off then, Aaron. How are you feeling about the game then? Yeah, positive. Can we go again? Can we get another win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm positive in the respect that, you know, we've won our last 2 league games relatively comfortably. It's never an easy place to go, whatever form they're in, however poor they are. It's never an easy place to go. The weather is not going to be great. We've got to be up for it. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think we will scrape a win. I mean, a draw wouldn't be disastrous at all, assuming we follow up the next 2 games with wins. But no, the fact is, there's no reason why we can't do it. Blackburn aren't in poor form for no reason. So let's make their misery worse.
Let's visualise it, Dan. Cracking open an egg on Monday. Maybe got a coffee on the go as well. Bournemouth sticking away some goals. Another 3 points.
Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? I wouldn't actually have a chocolate Easter egg because I have a milk allergy. So
okay.
we couldn't have that. But a result would be brilliant. Yeah, and I think that if the players aren't up for it now, promotion was never going to happen anyway. So that I think all the players are motivated now. But I want to quickly touch on briefly. I do think, though, I don't think Woodgate keeps his job at the end of the season. I know that's a separate topic, but I think even if he does get us promoted, I know it sounds extremely harsh, and I'd love to keep him at the club as a coach. But does that really happen where a manager comes in and someone gets demoted to a coach? How often does that actually happen? I don't know, but I think that he's not someone that I associate with Bournemouth in the way we play. But yeah, if he gets us up, he gets us up. But I just don't think he's the man to take us forwards. But yeah.
On the subject of coaches, I think that we might lose a few to Celtic soon, so he might have to stay around.
Yeah.
You know what? There's definitely more videos out there. Aaron, it's been great to have you on this match preview.
Thank you very much. Let's hope we're all in just as good a mood on Monday evening as we are now. Thanks a lot.
Dan, thanks for joining us.
No worries, Kirk. Yeah, fingers crossed for the 3 points on Monday.
And thank you everyone for checking in for this video, and please give this video a like. Remember, lineups live 45 minutes before kickoff at 2:15 on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your Easter. This has been the match preview for Blackburn, and yeah, we'll see you on the next video from me, Aaron, and Dan. We'll see you soon. Up the cherries.